We're going to start off on the ground right here at the back, taking a look at these hydraulics. So first off, you have pump 1 there, pump 2, and pump 3. Pump 1 has 58 gallons per minute flow. Pump 2 is 60 gallons per minute, and that pump 3 there is 24 gallons per minute. And there's also a difference in the type of pumps. So these two at the top are variable displacement, so that means that they'll keep supplying that same amount of flow at different RPMs, but the little 24 gallon per minute pump on the bottom is a fixed displacement, so that one will, if you're at say 1400 RPM or something, it will be supplying maybe 15 gallons per minute or something. It'll be lower than what it would be at full revved up. So that's the basics of that. Also, this one at the top here is a 3/4 inch. The rest of these are 1/2 inch, and this one up here is a 3/4 inch. These two are 1/2 inch. So we have 2 3/4 inch. There's an option to get 3. You can basically tell by, I guess, the size, and it also has this button here to release. So yeah, 2 3/4 inch. The rest are 1/2 inch. 3 pumps, up to 8 spool valves. Another thing to note is the way these are numbered, so it's a little confusing. On the bottom left there, that's 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and then they kind of jump to the top and go 6, 7, 8 down to the bottom there. So it's a little different. You'd think it'd be like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, but it goes from the kind of like in an arch a little bit. So a note on the positive and negative. So if you have your hoses plugged in correctly on the positive and negative in the cab, then you will be able to pull back on the paddles, and that will activate flow through the positive and back to the negative. If you push it forward, it's going to be coming out the negative and going to the positive. So there's a slight difference there. Actually, when it's coming from the positive, it actually has 20% more flow than if it was coming through the negative. So something in the valve block is allowing more through this way than out this way. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're like seeing maybe it's not fast enough or something, that maybe it could be the way either the hoses are plugged in or the way you're pushing the paddle. So that's something to keep in mind. Here's the main fieldwork page. You have your tractor, some of the RPMs and settings up there. Hydraulics are down here. So it's a little confusing. Pump 1 is this one in the middle. They're separated by these parentheses. So those 3 are pump 1, those 3 are pump 2, and this is pump 3 over here. You can tell that it's priority by the little star on the top. You can tell if it's set to constant by the little infinity symbol there. You can see those little triangles there. That's where the oil volume is set to. And there will be a little blue line that'll go up there when you're running them. You can see where your actual hydraulic oil flow is. You can also see where they're assigned to by that little symbol there. So this one's set to paddle 1, paddle 3, paddle 4, paddle 2. So that's all good. I'll show you how to change these. So basically you can just tap on them and you can change a lot of things here. So you have your total oil volume, and that's as a percentage. That's your total oil volume. That is what you would basically be setting. We also have the positive and negative oil volumes, and those you can basically just leave. That's not something you need to change. You have your control timer, so as soon as you activate it, it could be active from anywhere from 0 to 60 seconds, or you can set it to constant, and then you also can set it to priority. So that's about all you can change by just tapping on it. If you want to assign things, you're going to have to go into the hydraulic menu. So on here you have all of your pumps, all 3. So let's tap on the screen one here. So right here we have our oil volume, same as the last one. We also have the control valve response time. This is basically your ramp up. So you can set it anywhere from 0 to 4 seconds of ramp up time. And you can also change what percentage it's using going in and out. So you can make it more ramp up going in or out depending on what you're using it for, I guess. You have your control time and your constant setting. Now here we can assign it to any one of the 4 paddles, the joystick, either axis, and the rocker switch on the handle. So also we can block out the hydraulic valve, and this button here is an interesting one to note. The one that shows a little finger pointing to the back of the tractor. That is to set your rear fender control. So if we had this one assigned to the white, we'll go show you outside what that would look like. We selected the white spool valve on the screen to be controlled by these buttons up here on the fender. So say you have a hydraulic jack or something, you can plug it into that, and if it's assigned on the screen, then you can stand out here and control it with these two buttons, raise and lower it, and be able to actually watch it be raised and lowered, and be able to, you know, do it from outside instead of, you know, needing an extra person or something. So it just makes it a little simpler. It's nice to have. You can also assign that on the main fieldwork page just by this little button here at the back fender there. You can set it to any one of the control valves. So now back to this screen, and we showed you where you can assign these hydraulic valves to different paddles and things. But if you want to assign them to a function key, you're going to have to go out to the main fieldwork page here, the function keys menu, and then you can tap on any of these and assign them to any of these valves that are on here. So quick note on those: function keys 1 and 2 are on the top of the joystick, 3 and 4 are on the side of the little joystick here. F5 is the y-axis of the joystick, so positive, negative, float, and F6 is the x-axis, so same thing. Then on the side here we've got F7, F8, F9, and F10. So that's where all the function keys are, and again, you can go through the function key menu to assign those. We'll go to the back again, and we'll kind of show you how we'd recommend setting up, say, a drill or something. So we'd put the fans on the 2 3/4 inches at the top where you got more flow and everything. So we'd maybe put the seed fan here, FERT fan over there on the green one, and then on either of these two you could put your shanks up and down. So that would go on this pump with that, and then the FERT fan over there by itself. And then on the small fan, or the small pump here, we'd maybe put your wings pressure and all that. So that would be, it's pretty basic, but that's how we'd suggest setting it up. So here's one plugged in on a Burgo. You can see we got the seed fan up here. We've got the openers here, wings here on the little pump by itself, and then over here on this we got the fertilizer fan. So that's basically how you'd hook it up. We'll go in the tractor side now, and we'll show you how you do it on the monitor and what you change in the settings there. We showed you at the back of the tractor how we'd kind of set up the hydraulic hoses and everything. We're gonna go into the menu, and we'll just show you. We'll do one of them just because it'll take a while to do all 4, but we'll show you maybe with the seed fan here. So on number 5 here, the brown one. So again, we'll go into here, change the oil volume. This you do based on what RPM you want. But we don't have anything plugged in, so we can't see that anyway, so we'll just leave that, but that's what you would adjust there. We'll give it the 4-second ramp up time there. We'll set it to constant. We'll assign it to the 3rd valve, and we'll set it to priority. You can have up to 4 priorities on this thing. So that's basically all there is to it. You can do that with all of those. Set them however you need. And then on these right here, so this is the 3rd one, it's just a simple pullback to let it ramp up. It'll ramp up in those 4-second timer. Then you can either pull back or push forward to turn it off, and then that's float. Pretty simple. We'll turn her on, and we'll show you just how it looks when everything's kind of set up how it should be and running. So we'll activate our seed fan, our FERT fan, and our shanks, and you can see them moving up there. We're not revved up very high, we're just idling, so it's not getting it all the way up to there. But anyways, basically you can see how it's going there, and then you can kind of tell how much of your oil flow is going to different parts of it. And you want to leave room for it when you have to activate it, because it's gonna maybe spike over when you put your shanks down. It'll be more, and when you lift them up it'll be more again, and it'll kind of just plateau out at that. But yeah, so it's not plugged into anything, but that's kind of how you judge. Then you can just flick them back again, and off they go. So another side note, these 2 buttons in front of the joystick are the preset engine RPM. So you have speed 1 and speed 2. Right there you can see that one's set to 1650, one's 1500. Anyways, you can use those will work, but it does seem to give it a little room to drop down before it realizes it and tries to kick in again. So what we've recommended doing maybe is just taking this manual RPM, revving it up to 1600 or so where you're getting max horsepower, and then it's holding it there. It's not going below that, so it just will give it kind of a minimum to hold it at and keep it performing a little better. But anyways, hopefully this video was helpful to you and you learned something. Anyways, have a great day.